Wow, it's almost like when the best player in the world actually tries, the Avs have it pretty easy. And I guess good goaltending helps too. Avs win over the Detroit Red Wings 5-0. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Detroit played a good game against the Avs. They didn't. And when a team plays poorly against Colorado, 5-0 is what it's supposed to look like. The Avs didn't completely dominate Detroit on the underlying numbers or look like an absolute monster of a hockey team. They just went out, capitalized on their opportunities, put the effort in when they needed to, and that's enough to cruise to a win. So much of this game was the Avs making their lives easier instead of harder, and that was nice. A lot of that comes back to Mackenzie Blackwood, who made 28 saves for the shutout in this game. I don't think Blackwood was extremely tested. I don't think he had to make too many great saves to get this one across the line, but making all of the ones you're supposed to is really all the Avalanche need on most nights. It's also a nice reminder that after a stretch of mediocre to poor goaltending, games like this do crop up, and you remember that their goaltending is in fact fine, if not good, if not great. And you know what else makes your life easier? Scoring first. The different look top line doing good hard work in the neutral zone. Leckie and Nuke winning a puck battle to get them the puck and then get it to Nathan MacKinnon. And Nathan MacKinnon doesn't try to do too much here. He doesn't try something crazy or try to get deep in the zone, which sometimes I'm okay with him doing that. But he recognizes the situation that Brent Burns is coming in with a lane and just gets him the puck. It's good stuff, simple, smart hockey, and Burns with a great shot to get him on the board. So many of the plays in this game were a reminder that the Avs actually have a lot of good things in the bag. It feels like it's been a struggle lately for Brent Burns. That goal is nice, and the rest of Brent Burns' game was nice too. Imperfect, because that happens, mistakes get made, but so many shifts for Brent Burns were so much better than we've seen lately. Quality defensive plays were the norm, with the mistakes being the unusual. And better than just scoring first is winning the first period by more than one goal. Top line again, this time Nathan MacKinnon's going to get the puck and say, I'm Nathan MacKinnon. I don't need to make the simple smart play every time. Sometimes I can just hold on to the puck and make magic happen. As he cuts through, I will say here, this is a nice move from MacKinnon, but there's a different world a couple of days ago where this doesn't go perfectly. This skitters away from MacKinnon and he just gives up on the play. Not today. Today he recovers, finds some space, and throws a puck towards the net. A sneaky good shot here from MacKinnon, just over the ankle of the defender and perfectly to the corner of the net back here. All of this comes and is effective because of Val Nichushkin net front, though. You put all this together, and that's how you get easy goals. Some classic Nathan MacKinnon stuff there with the wrist shot from out high after running around the zone. It finds the right spot. Credit to Nathan MacKinnon for a very accurate shot getting put to the right place. But do you want to know the difference on why this is working right now? And I mean more than just because Nathan MacKinnon actually tried in this game. It's because the Avs put hard workers on his line. Val Nichushkin in front of the net completely screening John Gibson. He never sees that puck. Don't get me wrong. I really like watching Marty Necas. He's a really high-skill guy and does a lot of really effective things. Screening a goalie, not in his playbook. A little bit of a different look there for the Avs. And when Necas does get back, by the way, I didn't mention it, he was scratched for this game, a lower body injury that doesn't seem serious, listed day to day. He'll be fine, it just wasn't in this game. But as I was saying, I would keep Necas and MacKinnon together when Necas gets back into the lineup. I do think at 5-on-5, they're very good together. But it's about solving that third spot on that line. They tried Olofsson, it didn't work there. They put Lehkonen there, that is working effectively. Lehkonen can do a lot of those same things that Nichushkin does, whether that be screening the goalie or the dirty work and digging out pucks. It seems like the Avs need a hard-working type guy on that top line to do some of those things. They just become so much more effective when they have that. Whether it's Lehkonen or Nichushkin, I don't really care, but certainly something to keep in mind as the Avs start to get closer to a healthy lineup here. And here we see a luxury of teams that finish well. The Avs get outshot 11-8 in the first period, but they win it 2-0. The Avs should know as well as anyone that possession and high shot volume does not necessarily convert into actual goals. And when you're finishing well, you have the luxury of not necessarily needing to dominate play. Now, a 2-0 lead is far from safe and far from feeling super comfortable, but when you go out at the very start of the second period and add another goal on top of that, yeah, then maybe you've earned a little bit of cruise control. Especially when you're lacking players, you have some guys out like a Marty Necas, your second line with maybe not as much talent as it normally has, get pucks deep and go get them. That's what they do here. Nelson's able to find it on the backside and give the Avs an O-zone possession here. It didn't actually go that great, but Detroit doesn't make a good clear, and they're allowed to keep it in the zone because of that. What do? Immediately throw it back in, get it deep again. Nelson, with a second chance of control of puck, finds a little bit of space, gets his eyes up. Colton makes the right decision to speed down into the dangerous area. Nelson hits him and Colton finishes. That's just good hard work. Another beautiful behind-the-net setup that Ross Colton is able to finish by getting to the right areas of the ice. That's his second goal in as many games. I said it after his last goal. In the previous meaningless game, what is ultimately a meaningless goal was hopefully a jumping-off point. To see him score again feels great. The Avs need Ross Colton to be successful in the middle of their lineup. He's part of what makes their depth so deep. And even if you believe he's a piece they should trade to go get something else, him scoring is only going to raise his value. So you want to see that consistency in the offensive side of his game here. It's also a guy that is stepping up. The second line in this game, with Necas being out, ended up being Colton, Nelson, and Olofsson. When you're getting quality production out of that as a second line, yeah, you should feel pretty comfortable. This game seemed pretty well in hand at this point. Detroit was just not finishing on the opportunities they were given, which there were some. You didn't love the 2-on-1s the Avs were giving up in this game, but Blackwood either stopped them or Detroit flubbed them, so you got away with that part of it. The Avs did have multiple power play opportunities in the second period that come up short, which really could have put this game away. I actually thought the power plays looked pretty good, but they just didn't finish on them, which is a little disappointing given how well they were finishing in this game. I just can only talk about the power play being bad so much at so many times. And it ultimately didn't really have any effect in this game because the Avs would score that fourth goal in the second period and really put this game on ice thanks to their top line. The Avs meander their way through the neutral zone before ultimately dumping this puck in, and you can kind of play the Benny Hill music for Detroit's attempted puck work there. That's just not good. And when you're not good with the puck against the Avs' best players, all of a sudden the Avs have the puck in a dangerous area. Detroit, chaotic, has completely forgotten about Nathan MacKinnon on the backside. You might want to know where that guy is, otherwise this happens. Look, it's really, really hard to be a great player and make special plays and create something out of nothing regularly in the NHL. There are very few, if any, players that can do that on the regular. But what best players in the league can do on the regular is capitalize on opportunities given to them. That's exactly what that goal is. Detroit makes a mistake, the Avs' top players jump on it, and they make it count. Nathan MacKinnon becomes the first player in the NHL to hit 40 goals this season. The recent slack off from MacKinnon has dropped his total goal pace a bit, but he's still on over 60 goal pace, so still pretty good. And I wouldn't say I breathed a sigh of relief here. I am very comfortable with who Nathan MacKinnon is. He has these stretches during most seasons where it's a game or two of him totally being somewhere else. He shows once again he can turn it back on when he wants to. Probably should have had a hat trick tonight, but he did flub an opportunity late in the second period. I would have liked a hat trick, but I'm also happy I'm not dumping water on my head right now. And if we're honest about the third period, it didn't mean a thing. Neither team put in a particularly great effort, but here's Parker Kelly scoring yet another goal. Does Detroit's defensive puck management remind you of anything? Kind of the Avs on a bad day with the puck, right? It's kind of interesting to see the Avs do this to another team. They constantly force turnovers on Detroit and get pucks deep in the zone and then win the battles for those pucks. Great hard work from Kivy to get this puck to a dangerous area. And Parker Kelly, sneaky good hands in this near crease area, makes another nice play. It does take 2 chances, but he finds it. Good for him. His career high is now getting blown out of the water. And they actually clean up and make sure Blackwood gets the shutout on this one. And you can breathe a sigh of relief if you were worried about this last stretch, or you can just remember that the Avs are, in fact, good. We'll leave it at that. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and playing good is better than playing bad.